Have so you talk about tea, yes, and you talk about how you make it. Do you have a special technique to like back home? I'm yes, assuming it's a bit harder when you travel, but back home, is there a special, what is a way that you would have your tea in the morning?
Brewing.
Yeah, like is there a special technique here? Is it in a stocking? I remember I've had it in a stocking or something like that.
You know, all of those, they're just, yeah, you can use different types of accessories, and the stocking's fine, long as it's natural cotton. But as long as you haven't worn it before. But you know, the principle of tea, it's quite simple. You need good tea. It needs to be fresh, pure in origin, because a tea is formed by the influence of sunlight, of the winds, of the soil. So it's really a combination of heaven and earth, and finally the human involvement. So you need a fresh tea that's been protected. So you need to have filtered water, which shouldn't have too many minerals in it. Boil it once, or if you're using an urn or something like this, you need to make sure it's got a good thermostat in it. You then need to make sure that you brew the tea right. Brewing tea right actually is where most people go wrong. Typically in England, I think there was University of London study, typically people brew their tea for less than 20 seconds. So between 17 and 20 seconds, that's almost 80% of people. When you do that, you don't get the flavor and you don't get the natural goodness. You don't get the antioxidants in tea. So you got to make sure if it's a tea bag, you put the right, so 1 tea bag, 200 mils roughly of this freshly boiled filtered water. And you've got to stir, because otherwise what happens is the tea just brews around the tea bag and you end up with something very weak. If it's loose leaf tea, make sure it's 2.5 grams per 200 mils. Put it in there, stir, and then leave it for 3 minutes. You got to stir every minute, just to, you know, otherwise the tea sinks to the bottom and you don't get proper brewing. Stir it a few times, stir again, either put it through an infuser if it's, an infuser if it's loose leaf tea, or if it's a tea bag, you just take the tea bag out and enjoy. And the important thing that we're encouraging people to do now is to always have their tea with something that they might enjoy. So, you know, when you pair a tea with, say, for example, take a typical black tea, and when you're having it, say, with a dessert. Well, okay, you can do that. No, yeah, in that sense too, but also with food. Yeah. Because so if you're having biscuit, my father was talking about the high-grown teas. Yeah. Okay? The beauty of that is that from the same plant, in high, medium, different elevations, because of the temperature and soils and so on, you get from the same plant and the same method, totally different teas. And so when you consider that that tea is made by nature, and then you use that light golden character of a high-grown tea, or the intensity of a low elevation tea. The low elevation tea, for example, fantastic with steak, bit of caramelization on the top, incredible. And you get a pairing between tea and food on 2 levels, unlike in the case of wine. So you get, of course, the flavor pairing. So you're taking chocolate, or a bitterness in the chocolate is brought out by the low elevation tea, or you're taking something grilled where the caramelization is brought out. And at the second level, what happens is that once you've eaten it, if there's a deposit of fat or sugar, the tea, the antioxidants in the tea, they completely reset the palate by emulsifying the fats and helping the body to synthesize the sugars. And that's what tea does in your body, because tea protects the body from diabetes, from heart disease. It protects from dementia, and I mean there are hundreds of different things, but you can practically feel it when you taste tea. So if you have a salad and you drizzle it with a little olive oil, pair it with my father's ranwata, and it is off the charts.
Really?
The tea break and the cup of tea is a ritual. You relax with a cup of tea. They never say relax with a cup of coffee, you know. You relax with a cup of tea. It takes 5 minutes. You know the process of taking tea, loose leaf tea from your container, putting into the teapot, getting involved, boiling water. It's a whole ritual. And then you pour boiling water in that and you watch. It's mentally, you are relaxed. It gives me, God provides you tea breaks, 5 minutes, just to break away from everything and relax on what you do.